Alright, we're looking at some box and whisker plots today. I've been quite honest with you in the past about which plots are useful and actually used in real life. This actually happens to be one of those ones which we do sometimes come across, so it's helpful to see this. They look a bit like this. The first thing you'll notice is that these plots sit on top of a number line, which is drawn to scale, which is important because these things have meaning when they are drawn to scale and when we're very careful with that. So the meaning of, we'll start from the ends, those two vertical white lines at the end, they are your lowest and highest scores in the data set. So here the lowest score would be 10, the highest would be 19. All right. We'll try and use the same colors from last time. So the yellow line down the middle of the box there, that's the median. Okay, so for our data set here, the median would be 13. And the two blue edges are our quartiles. So the lower quartile Q1 would be 12, while Q3 would be 16. And together, these five numbers, the lowest score, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the highest score, well, they form what we sometimes call the five-number summary. Okay. We can also see what we learnt last time in this plot, the interquartile range. Now, that's the difference between the upper quartile and the lower quartile. Right, but they are the edges of your box. So on these plots, the interquartile range is just the length of the box, which here goes from 12 to 16. The length is 4. And the use of the way we interpret these is to notice once again, like from last time, that seeing these five numbers or seeing where they are gives you a clear indication of how to split your data into 4 equal parts. Okay, so 25% of the data sits in each of those sections of the box and whisker plot. And that's why it's sort of important to draw these to scale, because then you can sort of see the meaning of it more clearly. So say, for example, if you see this little section here between 12 and 13, right, what that's telling you is that a quarter of the entire data set, right, sits inside that little region, is between 12 and 13. Okay, and so that's a cluster of data then. That's where you can find a higher density of your scores. Okay, so that's how you interpret these things. You want to be looking at the shape and looking at how big each of those sections looks. Okay, all right. So a typical question might look like this. We have 2 box and whisker plots for English and maths scores. So the first one asks you to find the 5-number summary for the English marks. So that's those ones there. They look like lower score is 10. The lower quartile is 50. The median is 70. The upper quartile is 80. Higher score is 95. Same thing for maths. It looks like the lowest score is 50, lower quartile is 65, median 75, upper quartile is 80, and the highest score was 90. Okay. Then we're looking for the interquartile range. So for English, remember that's just the length of the box there. So the difference between the 80 and the 50 gives you 30. Likewise for maths, its box ranges from 65 to 80. Those are our quartiles, so the difference is 15. Okay, the next one asks you for the difference in median between the two examinations. So the median is that line going down through the middle of the box, so those purple ones there. And the difference is just the difference, it seems, between 75 and 70, which is 5. Okay. Now, last one I won't write anything on the slide for, but when we're comparing the performance, what you should be able to notice is that while, say, English got the higher max mark, someone got 95 in English, right? But overall, we would say maths had a much more consistent score. Okay, you can see everything's smaller in maths, and what that tells you is that the data is a lot less spread out. Okay, on top of that, of course, nobody failed because the lowest mark was 50, whereas in English, a quarter of the class would have failed because you see a whole quarter of the box and whisker plot that lies between 10 and 50. Right, so you can say things like that, right? Maybe English got the higher max mark, but maths had the more consistent class performance there. Okay, you can put as much detail in there as you like, depending on how much we're after, really. But that's how you'd interpret and read these things. Okay, hope that makes sense. Thanks for watching. See you next time.